Hi, everyone. Welcome to Restitch America. My name is Alma, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. This is episode number 11 of season 2. So what I wanted to do today is take the opportunity to share with you some portions of my book. You know that my book is coming out on February 16. So if you have not purchased a signed copy, you can do so right now by going to AmericanPrivilegeBook.com. AmericanPrivilegeBook.com. So this episode, I'm going to spend some time sharing with you what to expect in my book. I'm going to tell you what the chapters entail and give you a little bit of a sneak peek into the book and some of the reasons behind my writing of this book. Now, before we go any further, please take the opportunity, if you've not already done so, to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and share it as well with your friends and family. And if you're listening to us on a podcast platform, please make sure you subscribe and follow the channel and share it with as many of your friends as possible. The goal here is to increase the platform, build the platform, and increase the sphere of our influence here. So thank you for those who've already done that. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see more of you as you invite more people here. What we're going to do first is I'm going to read the introduction of the book. And then after I read the introduction, I will go chapter by chapter and give you a gist of what to expect in that chapter. So let's start with the introduction. My name is Alma Ohene-Opare. Nearly a decade ago, I set a personal goal to become a published author by my 40th birthday. Although the goal seemed insurmountable due to my incredible knack for procrastination, I never relented in my perspective nor wavered from the challenge. So I find it a fitting tribute that February 16, 2024, my 40th birthday, is the release date of this, my tour de force. As this is my first book, I am sincerely grateful to you for taking a chance on me and allowing me to share my story of hope, resilience, and triumph with you. Should you find this book inspiring, which I have no doubt you would, I kindly ask that you share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances. I also invite you to support my journey by following me on your favorite social media platform. This book will take you from my life growing up in Ghana prior to my immigration through my 18-year journey to American citizenship. By the end of this book, you will not only become acquainted with my life and experiences, you will gain a new appreciation for the privilege of being American. In writing this book, I hope to do my part to turn America's tide away from decline and to rekindle the optimism and patriotism that is quintessential to the American experience. I hope to convey to anyone within the sound of my voice that America is great because Americans are good. I'm also writing this book to express to my children my deep and abiding love for America. Despite its challenges, many of which have been laid bare in the past few years, I sincerely believe America, as Ronald Reagan put it, is the shining city on the hill that millions around the world can still look up to for hope. It is my sincere desire to play a part in restoring America as the land of the free and the home of the brave, a place where the tired, the poor, and huddled masses of the world can still yearn to breathe free. So that's the introduction. What do you think? All right, so let's go through each chapter by chapter, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a gist of what the chapter is about. I'll start with the title of the chapter, and then I'll share just a brief summary of the chapter. So chapter 1 is family life. So in this chapter, I talk about my birth all the way through my childhood and some of the things I did, some of the troubles I got myself into, and so on and so forth. This chapter you will love because it gives you a true insight into kind of how I grew up, the circumstances of my family at the time that I grew up, and it will tell you a little bit about my personality as a kid And you're gonna love this chapter because I feel like our relationship will change. Our relationship will change once you read this chapter because you'll learn some things about me that you didn't know before. So, chapter 1 is family life. This is my life in Ghana. And it also gives you a little bit of understanding of the culture of Ghana as well. So, that's chapter 1. So, let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called Growing Up in Ghana. And in this chapter, I start by kind of presenting the political landscape of Ghana at the time of my birth. So, just to give you a little bit of a summary, I grew up under a military dictatorship for the first few years of my life. And prior to my birth, there had been multiple coups. If you know anything about coups and the bloodshed and the things that happen, reading this chapter will help you understand kind of the political climate of the country I grew up in. It will introduce you to some of the people involved in that political climate. So you will also learn a little bit about my family's circumstances, my dad's job, and things like that. And you will also learn about my mom and her ingenuity and her, entrepreneurial spirit, and so on and so forth. You will learn about my dad and his first visit to the United States and how that went and how that inspired me as a child, and so on and so forth. So that's chapter 2, growing up in Ghana. And then in chapter 3, I talk about my high school years. So this was probably, as a child, the most significant part of my life growing up in Ghana. Because this time in my life, I went to boarding school for 3 years. And I went to boarding school at 13 years old. And so here you will learn a little bit about my experiences in high school, some of the experiences I had with respect to hazing and bullying and things like that. And there's a little nugget at the end, which may sound a little morbid as you read it, but you will kind of learn a little bit about life in a typical high school during the time that I was growing up. So that is chapter 3, my high school years. And then in chapter 4, I talk about my American dream. So this is where I start putting together all the different perspectives I had of America prior to coming here and the dream that I had to come here to kind of make something of myself. So chapter 4 talks about my American dream. And just to give you a little sneak peek, I will read the very first paragraph. It says, "My desire to come to America began long before I boarded the plane that brought me to Los Angeles in 2003. In fact, it started as a literal dream. As a young boy of about 6 years of age, I began to feel drawn to America after my father returned from his 3-month business trip to California in 1989. So this goes in and talks about, my dad's experience in America. It also talks about my mom's experience, and you're going to learn that my mom also actually went to her high school senior year in New York. So I don't know if I've shared this before, but that's how my mom came to America for the first time. She was an exchange student in high school. So chapter 4 talks about my American dream. Then chapter 5 talks about coming to America. And here I talk about the immigration process, the legal immigration process that brings people like me to America. And so I go through the entire process. I go through my personal experience with immigration to America, how it all happened, and you will learn a lot. And it will give you a perspective into some of the things that are happening at the border because you understand kind of what we have to do, what people have to do to get in line to come to America. And then in chapter 6, you're going to learn about my life in Los Angeles. So I came to America for the first time to Los Angeles, and you will learn a little bit about the 2 years I spent in Los Angeles, the people I met, and many of the experiences that I had that shaped my perspective of America and helped me understand kind of the America from the front doors and doorsteps and living rooms of a lot of people from all walks of life, from the rich to the poor and so on and so forth. So that is chapter 6, Life in Los Angeles. Then in chapter 7, I talk about returning to Ghana after my 2 years in Los Angeles and the differences. When I came to Los Angeles, I had a culture shock. And then when I went back to Ghana after 2 years, I had a reverse culture shock because things were very different. My perspective was different. And how I experienced my own country coming back from the US was a little different. And so I talk about that, and I talk about some of the things I did in preparation to return to the United States again. And then in chapter 8, it's titled Benevolent Benefactors. So chapter 8 is where I talk about all the different people that I met and how they changed my life in one way or the other. So you will meet, a few characters that were instrumental in giving me the opportunities and laying the path for me to achieve the American dream. So chapter 8, Benevolent Benefactors. And then chapter 9, I talk about marrying my best friend. So I take you through the entire process of getting married in Ghana. I share some of the cultural nuggets of a marriage ceremony in Ghana. And so here you will learn a little bit about my culture, and then you will also learn about what I had to do in order to get married to my wife. And then chapter 10, returning to America. So after I got married, I came back to America with my wife, and I talk about our experience coming back to America as a married couple and starting a life here fully as immigrants in America. And then in chapter 11, I talk about, it's called Irish Twins. I'm not going to give that away any more than just say Irish Twins. I think it is pretty self-explanatory. So take it for what it's worth. You got to read the book in order to find out what that means. If you know what Irish twins mean, it should give you a little bit of a hint there. But you gotta buy the book in order to see what that is all about. And then in chapter 12, I talk about navigating the American dream. So this is the chapter where I am here in the US. My wife is here. We have a couple of kids. And this is actually living in America and navigating the American dream. I know that we talk about the American dream a lot, but what is it like for a person who is here as an immigrant trying to set some goals and then navigating the process of getting towards those goals? So that's chapter 12, navigating the American dream. Then chapter 13 is preparing for American citizenship. So this talks about the process of waiting and preparing for American citizenship. And so you will learn kind of what that process looks like and how long it took for me to actually get to that point of becoming an American citizen. Then in chapter 14, the title of the chapter is Becoming American. So this is the chapter where I actually discuss how I became American. And as many of you know, I became American in 2021. And so this goes through, the immediate time leading up to my becoming American, and takes you all the way through, my taking of the oath of citizenship and how all that went. So you will enjoy that chapter as well, chapter 14, Becoming American. Then chapter 15, I move away from my story and then try from this point in the book forward to be more philosophical, to talk about some of the things that my perspectives on some of the things happening in this country. So in chapter 15, the chapter is called Resuscitating the American Dream. So a lot of people, especially the younger generation today, say things like the American dream is dead. It's no longer available to young people and things like that. And here's my chapter on how to resuscitate the American dream. And as I said from the beginning, my goal is to help rekindle patriotism and to help people realize the privilege of being an American. And the way we do that is to resuscitate the American dream for the youth and the younger generation. All right, so the next one here, chapter 16, is called Embracing Conservatism. So when I came here, I was a political nomad, right? I didn't have any real political ideologies that I subscribed to until I started researching the various political factions in America. And then I realized that, I didn't necessarily become conservative, but I realized that I had been conservative all my life. And so here I talk about what conservatism means to me and why I think it differs from other political ideologies and what I think the pros and cons of each of those ideologies are. So you will learn that. And I think you would enjoy that chapter because I put it from the perspective of an immigrant coming here. So for me, it's not about the political parties per se, but the ideologies behind the policies that those parties promote. So you will learn a lot about me and my kind of political makeup in this chapter, Embracing Conservatism. That's chapter 16. Then we have chapter 17. So in chapter 17, the title is The Free Market, A Path to Prosperity. So, building up from my kind of political perspective, the free market, I believe, is the most important tool for freedom. You can't have freedom without a free market. And I believe it's the most important vehicle to prosperity. And unfortunately, we have a world today where a lot of our youth don't believe in the free market. We have people who are currently embracing socialism, which is kind of weird when you think about it, right? Especially for those who are, older millennials or people in the Gen X generation and older, we understand why the free market is important. But unfortunately, it seems like we haven't passed that knowledge down to the younger generation. And today, ideas like socialism and communism, even Marxism, are proliferating all across the country among the youth. And we need to stem that tide and bring the minds and the perspective of these young people back to this understanding that you cannot have freedom without a free market. And then chapter 18 is titled The Virtue of Entrepreneurship. So since I came to America, I have attempted multiple entrepreneurial ventures, and it's been ups and downs and successes, small successes and failures along the way. But entrepreneurship, I believe, is the foundation of a society where innovation rules everything, right? Without entrepreneurship, we cannot innovate solutions to our problems. And so it's really important to recognize the virtue of entrepreneurship and to create opportunities for people to get into entrepreneurship, to think out of the box, and to solve the problems that we face as a country. So chapter 18, the virtue of entrepreneurship. Then chapter 19 is titled Mustering the Courage to Lead. Mustering the courage to lead. One of the things I believe is necessary for the survival of our country is courage. Unfortunately, we've reached a point with cancel culture and other things like that, where people are self-censoring because they don't want to be canceled, they don't want to offend anybody, that we're basically hiding our true beliefs and our true intent, and kind of cowering because we don't want to be, bashed or hated. And so in order for us to truly maintain our country, we have to muster the courage to lead. And that means being able to speak up when we see things happening that are not to our liking, being able to, study up so that we are courageous when we speak up, right? That's mustering the courage to lead, chapter 19. Then in chapter 20, I introduce my concept of willful positivity and the 5 pillars of willful positivity. So if you go on my social media, on Instagram and on TikTok, my handle is willful positivity. And this is a concept I came up with. And I feel as I look over my life in America, that willful positivity is what has gotten me through the ups and downs and the challenges to the point where I believe I have achieved the American dream. So, willful positivity, the 5 pillars, chapter 20, you will learn about those 5 pillars and how to apply those 5 pillars in your life. And my goal after this book is to actually write a book and a guide on how to actually implement willful positivity in your life and the 5 pillars of willful positivity in your life and in every aspect of your existence, basically. So look out for that. That will come hopefully sooner than later. So chapter 20 is willful positivity, the 5 pillars. Then we have chapter 21. In this chapter, I talk about my future ambitions. So since I started this podcast, since I started posting on social media, a lot of people have asked, are you considering running for office? Are you, thinking about, public service or something to that effect? Here I talk about some of my dreams, what I want to be able to do with my voice, and so on and so forth. I talk about whether, it is going to be in politics and what the criteria would be for me to determine if I want to go into politics and so on and so forth. So you will learn a little bit about my ambitions. And here you will also learn about some of the organizations that I have established to kind of further some of my beliefs. And you also learn how to support some of the work that I'm trying to do. So that's chapter 21, which talks about my future ambitions. And then in chapter 22, we bring it all together. And this chapter is titled Looking Back, Moving Forward. And this is kind of a summary of everything. And I'm going to read the first paragraph of that chapter to give you a teaser for it. And this is how it goes. As I pen the final chapter of this memoir, a journey that traverses continents and decades, I find myself reflecting on the intricate tapestry of experiences that have shaped my life. From the streets of Accra, Ghana, to the dynamic landscapes of America, my journey has been one of transformation, resilience, and discovery. It is a journey marked not only by the pursuit of my personal dreams, but also by the profound realization of what it means to be part of something greater, the American narrative. So that's chapter 20. You're going to love that one as well. And I am sure by this point you would be like, this book is so short. I need more. I know you're going to love it. It's going to be fun. And there is a bonus chapter. It's not numbered. I call it Quotes by Alma Ohene-Opare. So this particular chapter is specifically set up to share with you some of the social media posts I have made over the last 2 decades. So since I came to America and started posting on social media, these are posts that I've made on social media. So you kind of learn a few of my quotes, and these are quotes that you can use if you want, and you can take them and share them yourself with of course, the right attribution. But yes, these are quotes, and I share probably, I don't know, I didn't count them, but probably 50 or 60 quotes, all original quotes by me. And I hope you love those chapters as well. Then that's basically brings you to the end of the book. I have a couple of pictures at the end where I show you the picture of my wife and I on the day that we became American. And so I'm sure you'll love that. And I have another picture that is a picture of a dolphin. And I'm not going to say any more than that, but when you read the book, it's going to be very clear to you what that picture represents and how that picture plays a role in my life and my journey in America. So that's a description of all the chapters in the book. And like I said, if you have not ordered a signed copy, this is your opportunity to go and do so right this moment. The website is AmericanPrivilegeBook.com. AmericanPrivilegeBook.com. So go there right now. As soon as you're done with listening to this show, this episode, go to American Privilege Book and click on pre-order signed copy when you go to the website. And I'm actually going to show you the website very quickly here so you can see it. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to show you the website. All right. So there is the website, AmericanPrivilegeBook.com. And all you have to do is click on the pre-order signed copy, and it will take you over to the website where you can actually do so and go in, put in your information, and you will get a signed copy from me. I am expected to receive the books on the 15th, the day before the launch date. And so I am going to do a live on YouTube, on all my channels, and I am going to sign the books live on the evening of the 15th of February, the day before the launch. So look out for that coming up, and I'm sure you're going to love it. So once again, thank you so much for your support. I've wanted to do this, write this book for a very long time, but the thing that has actually given me the courage to do it finally is the fact that I know that there are people like you who want to hear that story. And I'm excited to bring it to you. So thank you for your support. Thank you for the encouragement that I've received from all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity that I feel you have given me to share this with you. So this episode is going to be just this. This is going to be short. And I hope that you go and purchase a copy of this book. Also, before I go, I'm currently recording the audiobook as well. So my expectation is that the audiobook is going to be available in a couple of weeks after February 16. I don't have a date just yet for that, but I will let you know in future episodes of this podcast. As soon as the audiobook is available, you will be able to buy that as well. So look out for that announcement very soon. Thank you so much for your support. And once again, if you're not following us, go follow us on social media. Go and share this podcast with as many people as you can. And once you buy the book, please consider buying it for family and friends if you can afford it, or at least, at the very least, share it with your family and friends so that they can also go and get a copy as well. And so, once again, thank you so much for everything. And I hope you have a great week. Next week is going to be the week of my 40th birthday. And so I'm going to be preparing myself to celebrate the 40th birthday. And if you don't know this, I have actually been invited to be a keynote speaker on my birthday, a keynote speaker at an event called the Black Excellence Gala. It's going to be in Salt Lake City. So if you are in or around Salt Lake City and you want to come and actually meet me in person and get me to sign the book in person, you could save a little bit of money by not having to order it online and have it shipped to your home. You could save the shipping costs and physically come and meet me in person in Salt Lake. I'm going to give you the information here very quickly. Let me pull it up. So let me see. Let me grab the information really quickly. And for those of you who are online, I am going to make this the link to purchase tickets to the Black Excellence Gala on February 16. It goes from 7:30 to 9 p.m. And this will include a dinner, a red carpet, like the full shebang. So if you want to meet me in person and you're in Utah, this is your opportunity to do so. So it's on February 16 from 7:30 to 9 p.m. And I'm going to give you the address right now. So hold on a quick sec as I pull up the address. And I'm also going to put the link to the event in the description for this episode of the podcast. So go into the description, click on the link, and you can get tickets for that if you want to meet me in person. So it is going to be held at the Edison House. So I'm going to share my screen once again. So those on YouTube, you can see it clearly. So it's going to be held at the Edison House in Salt Lake City. So let me share my screen. All right, so this is the Black Excellence Gala. I will be the keynote speaker at this event. So if you want to meet me in person, this is your opportunity to do so. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, you can scan the QR code there to get some tickets. Or if you want a discount on the ticket, then use the link in the description of this episode. You'll get the link there, and that will give you a 10% discount on the tickets. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you all again next week. Our episode is going to be kind of a launch episode for the book, and I will have someone interview me about the book and so on and so forth, and my inspiration for writing it. And that's what we're going to do next week. So look forward for that, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you so much.